Well, good morning. Robby Lybrand here with you again for our daily encouragement. It's so good to be back with you again this morning. I mentioned yesterday that we're going to look at the commands that Jesus has for us and what he is telling us he wants us to do in our life. And yesterday we talked about how Jesus wants us to love our neighbor. Love our neighbor as ourselves. And you saw us working on the ramp, and that's exactly what we were doing. Another very important part of our life that Jesus tells us that we need to do is to pray. He tells us that we need to pray and pray often. In fact, in Luke chapter 21, verse 36, he says, "But stay awake at all times, praying that you may have strength to escape all these things that are going to take place and to stand before the Son of Man." Pray that we have strength in times when things aren't going exactly how we want them to. Pray that we have clarity in moments when we're not sure what to do. Jesus is telling us to pray because it's in those moments that God is really going to start speaking to us. It's in those moments that we get the clarity that we were looking for, get the clarity that we were wanting. He says pray at all times. He also tells us in Matthew chapter 6 to not pray in vain. And I know that's difficult sometimes, but to not pray in vain, that's important for us because we want to make sure that what we're praying for is pure and true and not necessarily maybe out to hurt someone or out to boost our own ego. We are told in Luke chapter 6 to pray for those that are despiteful to us. Pray for your enemies. Pray for those that you disagree with. That can sometimes be difficult, and we see that a lot these days, that there's people that disagree. There's people that are very vocal about their disagreements with each other, and yet Jesus is telling us still pray for each other. Pray that we get the clarity. Pray that we understand each other. When the disciples came to Jesus, they didn't ask him, "Lord, teach us how to preach." They didn't ask him, "Lord, teach us how to heal." They didn't ask him, "Lord, teach us how to minister to people." They said, "Lord, teach us how to pray." It's in Luke chapter 11, verse 1. Teach us how to pray. They saw that Jesus was a man of God through his prayer, not just his action, but also his prayer. And that's what we're called to do. We're called to pray. We're called to pray for each other. We're called to pray for our world. We're called to pray for those leaders in our world. We're called to be people of prayer, to spend time and talk to God. Sometimes life gets busy and we don't get to. Sometimes we feel like prayer might be falling on deaf ears, but we have to remember that God's listening, and God will move in his time, and he'll move in his way. He hears the prayers. He knows what they are. And then when he does move, when he does speak, will we listen? Will we obey? Will we do what we're being called to do? So spend this week in prayer. I challenge you to pray for a different person, a different situation every single day. Spend time to see how God will move in those situations and in those people's lives and in your life. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week. I look forward to spending more time with you tomorrow as we look even deeper at how Jesus has commanded us to live our life.